Today on A Table in the Corner, I'm chatting to Carla Schulze, who is the chef, the executive, the big cheese at Salon restaurant in the Biscuit Mill. And I finally managed to get your number from that that guy, that hair model. What's his name?
Maddie.
Yes, Matt Fannenberg from Mercer.
Yeah.
So by night a chef, by day
Hair model.
hair model. Much sought after for that sort of wonderful head of hair.
That's so funny.
Thanks for joining me on the
Thank
show.
you so
It's
much for
amazing.
having me.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm excited.
At last. I mean, we saw each other across the paths one day when I came in to interview Luke here. And I've been wanting to get back to this now with the new format of the show. We can actually do this.
Amazing.
So you are a bit of an outlier for me in the sense that you're the first chef I've ever spoken to that studied with Jackie Cameron.
Oh, amazing. Very cool.
So that's in KZN.
Yes.
So are you a KZN human?
I'm from Joburg.
Okay.
Yeah, from Joburg. I actually was going to after school study hotel management in Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we went to Switzerland, we looked at all the different courses, and I think it was my mom who recognized that I kept choosing it based off which course had the most extensive culinary course within it. And even when, one of them came up that was brilliant, I was like, oh, but what about the food part? And then she said, you know what, let's go back home. She was like, let's see this food industry, what it's about, because it seems to be tickling a fancy. And then Jackie Cameron at the time, who was top female chef in the country.
Yes, she was.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
She had then opened.
Because that was the mid-teens, 2016, something like that. There was a lot of hoo-ha about her.
Yeah, at Hartford House. Yes.
She was at Hartford House, yes.
And then she had opened a school. So that was the whole, that was what was going on. It was big news. So my mom was like, well, let's go see if you can get in and learn from the best.
Okay.
And I thought it was incredible to be able to learn from someone who was really in the industry, a female in the industry, and doing so extremely well.
Yeah. Oh, that's also an interesting point, right? Because exactly. And also to kind of be able to find a really prominent and extremely successful and driven female chef who would pass on that thinking and learning. Okay.
So I was very grateful for that. It was very special.
But just back up a little bit, because I mean, I've got some notes here that I'm going to refer to occasionally, and I understand your dad's Austrian. So how did you end up in Swaziland? Switzerland.
Swaziland.
Swaziland. No, but so why didn't you go to Austria? Aren't there some cooking schools there?
The hotel management schools in Switzerland just rolled around.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my dad was also the cook in the family. So I think that's also what sparked it. But for me, it was the hotel management, just trying to go to one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, is that you? Are you very kind of precise? So management would have been the thing you go to, or what was the cooking?
I hope I'm good with people.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was kind of.
I hope so too, because otherwise this won't be a great interview.
But so I think that was the hope, and that was kind of the passion. At the time when I was 18, I was like, oh, own your own little boutique hotel.
Right.
And then suddenly it was actually in Switzerland when I kept seeing all these, like there was people doing in their little chef hats and things. I was like, oh, what are they making? What are they doing?
Okay.
So I think that's what kind of sparked the
And before that sparked interest, you mentioned your dad was the cook in the family, and I've read in some of the interviews with you in my sort of background research that your dad was the inspiration that got you into the cooking thing.
So he's Austrian, so there's also, everyone sits at the table, fork and knife, everything's proper, but it was just a time of day where we would all, and it's a standard thing, and I think a lot of people are the same, where you all come together and you talk about the day, you talk about this, so, and my dad actually passed away when I was quite young.
I'm sorry.
No, but it was, all these special traditions and things we still do are because of him.
The moments that connect you with your dad.
We still make his soul for Christmas, and so it's all it all adds up.
Yeah, I hear you. So Salon is part of the Test Kitchen group of restaurants that Luke Del Roberts started, right? And if I'm correct from the background research, you came straight from Jackie Cameron's cooking school to the Test Kitchen.
Yes, I did. So I didn't do very well at school. My brother was the academic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but then I went to Jackie Cameron, and suddenly it was something I was really passionate about. And I think that for me was like, then I really wanted to be good at it. You know, I was never passionate about maths or anything like that. So I was like, wow, this
Oh, was
is
it like
something.
Carla Schulze, top of your class? Was it one of those? At last, after all these years
Yeah.
of struggle.
And then when I remember it's a specific thing that's changed the game, and it was an Eat Out cover magazine. Luke was on the cover of the magazine. And it's, I don't know if you remember it, but it's the most, now it's quite funny, but it's him and he's got a whole salmon like flung over his shoulder and there's like flying salmon and water in the background.
Okay.
And I said to Jackie, I was like,
This
is who I want to go work for.
Really?
Yeah. And then she was like, well, you've got to work really hard if you're going to get a placement there. And that's what sparked it for me. Then I was suddenly like, I want to be the top student. I want to work really hard to get to where I need to be. And that's what kind of shifted it. And then, yeah, I was placed at Test Kitchen for my 6 months placement.
Okay, yes.
And then I was there. Well, I've worked for Luke. This is my 10th year working for him now. So it's, yeah, it's been incredible.
Look, I remember when I spoke to him on the show that he said that you're like his right hand, that you know, you guys have a nice dance in the kitchen, that you understand each other. And so it's obviously that was the seed of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that Jackie Cameron managed to get you into his kitchen. That's
I mean, they're good friends.
Yes.
So she kind of, I actually was so nervous to meet him for the first time. I met him while I was still at school, and I got up early, got dressed, wore my best outfit, Sunday best, and he rocked up and he had board shorts on. He'd just been surfing.
What's the Austrian Sunday best? Were you in lederhosen?
I wasn't in the Diender, but I was looking sharp.
Sharp, okay,
but,
good.
I met him and he was just so calm and very kind and
very exactly. And that leads me to another question, okay? Because so often, like, if you dream like at school and you go to Switzerland, you say, oh, I want to be a chef, and then your mom gets you into what she finds is the best school in the country at the time, and you go to the school and you learn all your things, and then people get in the kitchen like, I've got to carry stock pots, and I hate it. I mean, was there a culture shock for you?
No. I think no.
Okay, was it
something that I'm very grateful for Chef Jackie is she was very realistic at the school already. So we cleaned down, we scrubbed the braai, we took out the bins, you know, so it was like, and she kept like reassuring us, like, this is what it's like, you know.
Yeah.
But I think for me at Test Kitchen, I was so starstruck. I was like, give me that bin bag. Like, I just want to be here. Yeah. Okay. So I was so excited, like, give me that stock, I'll strain it. I was just, you know, I walked in and it was at the time, Ivor Jones, Ryan Cole, and Luke Del Roberts on the pass. I mean, that's pretty incredible to a 19-year-old.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a lineup, right?
So it's quite the lineup. So I was just in awe.
It's so interesting that so many incredible chefs who have such an influence on the Cape Town dining scene have passed through the hands of Luke Del Roberts, right?
Yes. It's
Why haven't you passed through his hands and gone on to your own thing? Or
I just love him too much.
I hear you. I
just keep learning, and we keep doing all these amazing
things. Yeah.
So there's never been a stage where I've been like, I wouldn't want to be a part of that. You know?
Really. I mean, do you have an ambition to run your own place one day? Or, I mean, you pretty much run Salon, don't you?
Yes, and I'm very grateful he's given me, I'm grateful and I feel honored to be able to run one of his spaces, you know, and for that, I think that's always been a dream of mine. But I just love working with him. I love the whole family. You know, we've got potluck upstairs, fledging downstairs.
And it's nicely concentrated and everyone talks to each other. And I mean, do you pop upstairs to Jason Cosmos and swap ideas sometimes?
Or pop in?
Often.
Yeah, we're all very, very close. It's very nice. Or if I need a litre of cream or something of this.
The Salon thing. So you clearly worked your way up in Test Kitchen. Did you stay with it when it became fledglings? Did you go to potluck?
There was a transition period.
What was your kind of journey?
Yeah, so there was a lot. I mean, like I said, we're always doing all these amazing projects. We were in Mauritius for the pop-up during the drought, and then I think a few months after that, there were all these things going on. So they've also reopened like a year-old pub lunch, which we ran.
And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention this.
No.
I got approached to do some writing about a pop-up that Luke was wanting to do at the top of the cable car on Table
We did that. I
Mountain.
did that. Yeah.
You did that?
Yeah.
Was that you?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. So I did it with Luke. It was very cool. So it was on Table Mountain.
Yes.
And it was, yeah, it was dinner on top of the world. It was incredible. We actually had a guest. It was supposed to be like a 40, 50 person dinner, but we had a guest who booked out the whole thing for him and his wife.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
Okay.
It was very special.
I mean, so you are right. I mean, because he seems to be constantly innovating and creating.
Always,
so working with Luke, you getting to do a lot of
Yes,
stuff.
no, it's
Why
awesome.
would you?
Yeah,
go?
it's awesome. But there was a point where I stepped out the kitchen. I wrote the test kitchen cookbook. So
Okay.
we shot and did the recipes for that, and
Right.
that took long. That was like,
A year's work.
it was 5 years, over 5 years. So I was still working in the kitchen, and then yeah, that's a
You should
labor of love.
You should have hired me. I make cookbooks in 3 months. Come
There
on.
we go. Yeah, maybe we're not as good. But and then there was all kinds of things. I went to, after COVID, Test Kitchen, Luke had shut its doors.
Yes.
But Fledglings was also born during COVID.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I helped set it up initially. But then I also went to Potluck Switzerland. So yeah, we did a pop-up in Switzerland. That was very cool.
Yeah.
That was a couple of months. And then when I came back, I was his development chef for a while. We were consulting for places. We opened a place in Joburg, and we were going to open one in Somerset
That's
West.
right, because there's quite a lot of consulting,
Yes.
and you would probably be Johnny on the spot because you understand him the
Yes.
best.
Yeah, I think I've just worked for him so many years. So, and then this opened, and then I went from development chef to position I have now.
Okay, so how did he talk you into this?
Salon.
Yeah.
I loved being his development chef because it was constantly Luke and I one-on-one, and I just loved it. I loved the constant
That creative drive.
yes,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, just being able to really get the forefront of what he's thinking, all his inspiration, all these projects. But then with this, I think this started off as a canapé bar.
So I was going to say to you that at first, the like first idea wasn't a very good one. And Luke admits that you couldn't make enough off of selling someone a canapé and getting them to drink a couple of cocktails.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought at the time it was brilliant. Potluck was fully booked, Fledge was fully booked, and we were having walk-ins in the middle of Woodstock. You know, where are they going to go around the area at night? And I thought it was a brilliant idea. And but the problem was that Luke Del Roberts opens a restaurant. People were just eating canapés for dinner. You know, they were like, we're here, we're ready. So then we introduced a main course, we introduced a hot starter, and suddenly now we're doing a 12-course tasting menu.
And you don't think about that, do you? And it is something that Luke has mentioned, is that because Luke Dale Roberts opened a restaurant, people expect to be able to go there, eat dinner, and write reviews about it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, 3 canapes isn't dinner, is it? And it's not necessarily, even though it is a reflection of who he is as a chef and his creativity and yours, are you servicing that fan base necessarily?
You know, but I mean, the canapes we were doing, it wasn't like a little tartlet. It was like, you know, we had the Black Forest cake was born when this opened, and that was a savory take on Black Forest cake. It had foie gras in it. It had like a vanilla truffle chantilly. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I was grateful for that time as well. It was
very cool.
It was very cool. It was very fascinating.
And so Salon has kind of rolled along and progressed, and it's now much more a proper restaurant with a tasting menu.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you are constantly interacting and developing. But I mean, I understand this is the menu is very much your shop with a sort of oversight by Luke, or how does that happen?
I think we've worked for so many years together, but I've also taken a lot of, you know, I've learned so much from his cooking style that I think I've interpreted my own way as well.
Yes.
But it's kind of his philosophy that I put throughout the menu. And then, you know, well, we've started to a Salon change, and this happened in winter in 2025.
Yes.
I wanted to start celebrating in-season ingredients in our snacks. And it definitely was inspiration from the dark room at the test kitchen, where, you know, you were in a space and suddenly you have these incredible snacks popping through very quickly, fast paced. And then suddenly you go into the light room and there's this calm, you know, white tablecloth. So I was like, how can I recreate that within the same seating.
Mm.
And then I introduced kind of this, you get a small little snacks menu with your cocktails, and the cocktails and the snacks change with every season. So,
Okay.
you know, at the moment it's the figs are coming in. So we've got like a fig leaf and fig sour. You know, we've got the kai apples we just foraged, like, so those will go in with elderflower. You know, the snacks, we've got a rhubarb trout snack. So that's exciting. So we've changed that kind of concept. And that was something I approached Luke with. I was like, look, I want to do this because it adds like a different dimension. 2 or 3, 4 hour dinner adds an exciting start to get you going. And then you kind of sitting, can have your wine pairing, and you know, so
it's interesting that more and more people are obviously seeking you out for that experience, right? And do you feel sometimes pressurized to constantly be innovating in the experience, or is it just something that you do naturally and you go, oh well, you know, today I'm going to do this, and are people accepting of that, or do you have to kind of work within certain parameters, like you have to have a lamb, or you have to have a this, or you have to have a...
So yeah, I think we've moved away from that. I think once you start cooking exactly what you want to do and doing what you want to do, suddenly the guest also appreciates it more when you're not boxed in. You know, you're not like, oh, beef must be the main.
Okay.
We have a single slice of Wagyu biltong, and that's the only actual meat you get. Like our main is duck, our hot starters quail. So there's very little red meat on the menu.
Okay.
And the kind of interactiveness, and again, something I learned from Luke, is it was never about the theater, it was about the food. And I think that is so important. You know, like we do a pesto snow, and there's the nitrogen, it's all wonderful and beautiful and mystical. But the point is that a tiny bit of pesto is on every little bite you have, and not just a big dollop every now and again, you know? So I think everything is done with purpose. And something I've started or wanted to introduce was we put a citrus dish on in winter.
Yeah.
And I was getting in blood oranges, and we had Thai limes, and these finger limes are coming in. And I was like, oh, I want the guests to see what we see. Because we were, you know, breaking it up. You've got all the colorful segments.
It doesn't have its initial identity as the ingredient, does it? Yes. Okay.
And I wanted to kind of keep it true to what it was, but show them what we get to see in the kitchen.
Yes.
So I cut up all this citrus. I bought this huge tray, and I was like, our tiny snack is going to be amongst this cut citrus. You know, we got a cheese wheel in, and I wanted to put it on the bread. And I'm like, look how beautiful. And, you know, it is. So then I just wanted to make them part of the experience as much as I could. You know, bring them the joy that it brings me cutting into the citrus, you know, doing the wheel or anything like that. So, and I think it does connect them more, and it does give a better understanding of, oh, wow, this is exactly what I'm eating now. Like listening when the waitress or waiter are doing the cheese truckle, you know. So I think we've created a nice interactive experience and with meaning.
That sort of means something, and also brings people back to the guest, and not this heavily processed, overworked thing that lands on your plate, right?
Yeah.
I want to shift on. Before I do, let's take another one of those
amazing
advertising breaks, the products and services.
Amazing.
And we're back. In the preamble to this, when we're sitting down and miking you up, you know, trying to dispel all the nerves with a couple of jokes, I said to you, how was season? And you were like, you can't believe the no-shows.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by that, because this is a destination restaurant. It's an experience restaurant. And it shocks me that someone would book here, pay a deposit, and not rock up.
No.
What do you think is going on there?
I don't know. If I knew, I'd try and fix it.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is, compared to last season, there has been, and I think it's, you know, we've seen it upstairs, we've seen it here, we've seen it, I've spoken to my friends about it in the industry. And I don't know whether it's a matter of people, maybe, you know, they're coming on holiday, they don't know what they want to do. Let's book 3 different places and decide on the day. You know, or is it...
And, I mean, I remember talking to Luke about that, because he said that people are booking 3 different restaurants because for them, like a 200 Rand deposit for a restaurant is like £1.22. It doesn't matter. So they can't, but it's not £1.22. I mean, some of your restaurants were 1,000 Rand deposit. And people are no-showing on 1,000 Rand.
Yeah, they are. I don't know what it is, but a lot of chefs have kind of raised the issue because it does take a big toll on the space.
Huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I've said to you as well that our restaurant, the Table at Demey, almost closed in the first year of operation because of no-shows,
yeah,
because we had so many.
Yeah.
So it really, really hurts. And I thought that like operations, booking services and deposits had fixed that. And it's reared its ugly head again.
we haven't put it down, but we're very grateful. We have a waiting list, so if people cancel on the day, we're able to contact other guests and things like that. But I think, if we don't have a waiting list or other restaurants don't have a waiting list, it puts such a massive toll on your team, on your costs. You're not carrying half the stuff over. So it's very
everything's prepared from scratch. It's not like you can keep it for tomorrow, stick it in the freezer.
No, you can't. So, and it's tough on the team. They're working, they're going the whole day, and then suddenly it's like, oh, the 6-seater is now a 4-seater. You've got a full house of waiters and waitresses. And
you referred earlier to upstairs had a thing, and if I understand correctly, you had a 12-seater no-show at the potluck.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They
12 seats.
They called in saying they weren't feeling well.
But 12 people weren't feeling well.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it was a case of the youngsters weren't feeling well. The parents can't go out without the youngsters. But at the end of the day, we are human.
Yes.
So if people aren't well, if
you have to understand.
Had an emergency situation, we're very understanding, but we have. I think there has been an increase, but mainly in December.
Did you say that there was an article written somewhere about the fact that
it was either food, News 24 food, if I'm not mistaken, but I think restaurants have started speaking up about and kind of coming together about, this is happening.
Yeah.
What is everyone doing? Is everyone in the same boat? It's kind of created like a support circle, I guess.
Yes.
And it's tough because it's like, what do you do? Do you still charge them?
What do you do? I told you that story that we sat 84 over a weekend and we had 22 no-show one weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 25%. I mean, you're on margins of maybe 12%, maybe 15%. 25% of your income gone. That hurts.
The deposit helps the costs of what you've made.
Yeah.
But the profit is lost.
I mean, and also the thing is, it's not just that because you're paying for the booking services. Like, I know that Dine Plan was developed as a sort of a response to the no-show scourge of Cape Town, right? And a lot of restaurants now, as a standard thing, they have Dine Plan, but that costs money.
Sure.
And I mean, and there are other, there's another service that's been developed called Novel, which is not as pricey. It's kind of more up to date, and it operates in a different kind of way. But restaurants need those things. But if those things aren't working for you and you're still getting the no-shows, you're still spending for no result.
Sure. I think, look, Dine Plan does help us massively with just the booking.
The administration
overall,
of the, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think just the deposit and whether you charge a guest full price or not, I mean, that's up to you and how you want to run it. We had a couple on New Year's. They were dressed up and they looked wonderful, and they came and they said, listen, we're really not feeling well, but we'd love to celebrate New Year's here and we'd love to be here, so we're going to try our best. They had the first set of snacks and they just said, guys, we can't do this. So you're still human, but it has been demoralizing and tough, and it's already a tough season as is.
And
so
you say it's a tough season. Why is it a tough season?
It's because we have been very busy.
I see. I understand. Yes, because obviously it's season, so obviously you're really busy. You're working.
Yeah, it's always tough.
And then to have those demoralizing no-shows.
Yeah, and then so it's tricky.
That's a tough one. And that is the thing. I mean, whether also going back to the sort of booking services, it's not just that they help you with the bookings. I mean, I remember that when we signed up with one of the booking services, it was because it took the pressure off me to constantly be phoning people, taking the bookings, phoning back, checking, sending an SMS the day before to see that they're going to, do you want to still have your booking? Are you going to cancel? So all that admin gets taken away by a sort of a booking operation like a Novel or a Dine Plan, right? Yeah. So that's off the page. But even if you are using that administration kind of process, you're a human being in the kitchen working your butt off to please people, and those people just don't bother to pitch. I mean, are people as consumers, as the public, getting too used to this kind of restaurant? Because I mean, 10 years ago there were 3 like tasting menus, sit downs in the city. Now there are 50. Are people getting so used to them and it's just blasé, so it's like going to Wimpy? I mean, and I don't mean that I don't mean that in the quality of the food way, you know.
Yeah, look, I think Cape Town in general as well, we have so many restaurants now, you know, and it's but on top of the consumer, it's also because they also disperse, you know. Now it's there's so many different places to go. Same for the chefs, you know, they have so many different job opportunities, and it's difficult. It's tricky.
It really is, and keeping the people motivated, keeping them on the team, and then, you know, things like no-shows happen. And also, as you say, like that plethora of restaurants that's available, I just like shake my head. You know those online groups where people say, I need a nice restaurant to go to for my birthday. Brew. Seriously. Because like 78 people answer and give you 402 options, and it's
wildly different options.
And also,
as well.
like some people will say, like Salon, Koi, you know, Chef's Warehouse, Broken Stancher, in a potluck club. But some people will say, you know, Hudson's Grill. Some people will say Wimpy because they like it. You know. It's such a kind of a spin of the wheel.
So much choice at the moment.
So much going on.
There is.
Okay, well, let's move beyond that.
Amazing.
You know, and talk a little bit about your favorite dish on your menu at the moment, because I'm trying to keep some sort of format here that people can.
Sure. I think we've recently put it's a garden pea dish on. Yeah, and it's lovely. It's we've done a little dashi based sauce. There's mint in there. It's wonderful and fresh. And I think, like I was saying earlier, like really trying to hone in on the season you're in at the moment.
Yes.
And there's a little scallop mousse with the langoustine going through it. We wrap it in courgettes. It's light and it's fresh. And I kind of think it speaks to what we're doing. I often say that our duck is our signature dish.
Okay.
So it will always be on there. But it really speaks to what we do. So there's 4 elements on the plate.
Okay.
It's a 7-day duck breast, a little puree, a crepe, and then we do the crepe Suzette tableside. And for me, it just speaks from where the dish started to where it ended. I mean, it started with 10, 12 elements.
And there's so many influences in that, like the French, the kind of Hong Kong.
Yes. So, and I love it because for me, that's where Salon's kind of philosophy changed. It was, you know, it started with like a turnip dauphinoise, and it had like a walnut salsa salad, and it had all this stuff. And then we moved in a direction of like less frills, less fuss, do things properly, and really celebrate that individual ingredient. So the duck, you know, we age it, it gets roasted. Like we try and make everything to like the best it can be.
Yeah.
Instead of having like, oh, and there's the swirl and then lots of herbs on top and things like that. So it's I think that's when it changed. And then suddenly we were pulling back more and really honing in on the ingredients rather than the spiel.
Wow. And also quality in the ingredients, like where your duck's coming from. Are they kind of free range, local?
Yeah.
There's an amazing farm in the Midlands.
Yes, that's where we get our
ducks from. Yes. Okay. Oh, so you're going back to your roots because that's what you studied in the Midlands as well.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of layers to that dish, right?
Yeah.
So what's it called? Something farm.
Kaldane ducks. Yes.
Kaldane ducks.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
cool.
amazing. And flowing from that, okay, what do you want someone who comes in here, if they bother to arrive and they don't know show?
Yeah.
What do you want them to take away from sitting down and eating your food?
I want them to, you know, it was quite funny. It was actually Marie, also from Mersha, he came for dinner a while ago, and he just said, I felt lekker. And he's like, that's what you want guests to. And they obviously were Service Award of the Year as well at Eat Out. He was incredible with his past and his knowledge as well. And, it kind of sat with me. And I was like, and I lekker, like, but
I mean, that's kind of thing, because as you say, he won the Service Award on the Eat Out, right? So that's Maria from Mercia.
Yes.
And for him to say that his experience was just fantastic.
Yes, and I think you want people to feel, for me, it's like I was saying, the interaction with what they're eating, the understanding of what they're eating, the appreciation, but also just, I think I'm very grateful for our front of house team as well, but just making them feel welcomed, like this is our home, we're here for 16 hours a day, like welcome to our space, and to just like have wine and have a cocktail and a good time, like that's the idea. And we also have a map that we put down for their main course. So first you get your little snack menu, and then you get a whole map of the world, and it's inspiration from where you're eating, where you're going, and it's always interactive. It's you're here for an experience, and we're here to give it to you. You know? So,
and that it's your home. Is there in that description? Is there a little hark back to being home with your dad, cooking, sitting around the table? Is it that?
I always think, because my dad was the cook at home, and he used to always do everything perfectly from scratch. If it was fried king clip, the breadcrumbs he'd make himself and get them all dried out. So, but you always think, because he passed away when I was 9, so you always think, would he be proud of me? Would he be happy that I'm doing this? Because my brother was such an academic, and he always like pushed us to do well at school. And I recently found out that his dream was to open up a restaurant. And then, you suddenly have this thing of, it's like it's within you, so it's like, this is my home, like this is, it's like,
and it's the thing,
well, you spend more time here than home, so
yeah, exactly.
pull out a sleeper couch, but it's
what do you typically hear 14-15 hours a day, something like that, and probably more in season.
It's a good time.
It's a good time.
It's a great time.
It's a great
time.
A creative time.
And I think you have to really love it to be able to do those hours,
I think so.
There's another dish that I actually wanted to tell you about.
Yes.
That's my favorite dish on at the moment. I put on a dish recently in November. Oh no, it was December. And the tomatoes had just come in. Okay. And they were really looking good. And I was like, okay. And what we did was we took the tomato.
Yeah.
And we wrapped it in fig leaves. So we held out the inside and we wrapped it in fig leaves, and we roasted them at a really high temperature, so that fig leaf flavor just really penetrates into the tomato.
Whoa.
Then we take it out and we brush it with like a fig leaf oil, and we dehydrate it so it's beautiful, chewy tomato texture. We take octopus, mussels, leeks, we make a little saffron jelly, and we stuff this tomato. And it's served on a little oyster veloute. So you put your thing on, and it comes to the table, and we keep the fig leaf husk on, and it gets revealed, and you're kind of like, oh, it's like a whole tomato, like what's going on here? But I love it so much, and that's also where the fig leaf pesto comes in, where you get a little bite and everything. And I love it because it's very different to what we usually do. Like our quail at the moment, it's very this, and the tomato is just flavor. And you cut into it, and it's this like wonderful bite of like explosion of freshness. It's ice cold.
Yeah.
So it's a summery light. You got like the bitterness.
Almost gazpacho like. So there's another crossover. Yeah. Okay.
So that is my favorite dish at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also because the early blush of figs is December, that time.
Yeah.
And then they actually are going to go now at the end of January is fully in season.
The leaves
so mixing, exactly, the leaves would have been out.
Oh, that's my favorite. I wish you could taste it. It's good.
So let's start talking about you, because this isn't all about you, It's also about that hair model. I want to, because when I spoke to Matt about Mercia Restaurant and his background, I forgot to make the connection between Haba Now. Okay, but before we go to Haba Now, I want to ask you who's on your watch list. So where are you eating, or where are you thinking people have to go to this restaurant? So apart from Salon, because you have to go to Salon, but
try the tomato.
And try the tomato, and I mean, of course you can say Mercia, but where should people be queuing up to eat?
I recently, so Tanola and Jeff at Koi are very good friends of mine, and
to know they are amazing. And I ate
incredible.
their fish.
Yes.
That whole
Yes,
roasted
yes,
fish, that's
yes.
bream.
Something
Oh
special,
my
hey?
hat, that's
We
unbelievable.
and obviously they're very good friends,
Yeah.
but I have immense respect for what they do.
Yeah.
You know, when you eat there, you're blown away. You're blown away by the space, by the setting, but also just you don't even need the harbor here in the mountain there. You're just so fixated on, you know, the unbelievable food they're creating.
Yeah.
And I think, they're a power duo on my watch
Listen,
list.
they are amazing, and they're not engaged, I understand.
I'm
So
going to their wedding
Oh,
in March.
cool.
Very
Cool.
excited.
Yes.
Looking
So
very forward to it.
I've been following them because they've got a new menu that they launched before season,
Yes.
and it's got a crunchy, like southern fried chicken style crunchy. I don't want to eat that, but I haven't had the time to get back to Koi.
Yes.
So,
but you know, when we went to their Sunday lunch where the roast fish was,
yes.
Jeff introduced it as, this is all about throwing away the recipe book, throwing away the rules, and just cooking from our hearts and what we want to cook. And that's when it comes to life, you know.
Fantastic,
and you're just sitting there and you're so happy. And then even when we went for during the week, the Koi experience, it just, that energy, the precision was all there and everything, but the energy of flavor, and this is what I want to cook, and this is what I'm going to serve. You could just taste it.
Listen, when they were at Heritage Square, I was like, where did these people come from?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just
No,
they were
incredible.
so
they are
fantastic, and it's amazing. I think that Ryan Cole has seen the glory, I suppose, of those two as a team, and got them on board because
Chef Ryan used to work. She worked at the test kitchen as well.
Yes.
So
They
So I think, you know,
he was like, those two.
Had my eye on you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So Koi definitely, and Jeffrey and Tanola, but where else? Anywhere else?
My favorite restaurant is Azuri. I go for my.
What is it with all you chefs and everyone likes Uzuri and
it's just,
Nick
also I worked with Aiden for a very long time.
That's
He's
right,
extremely talented. Not recently, when they opened, met Nick, also the loveliest guy. But just the food they are creating is just the food you want to eat.
Yeah.
You know,
it's fabulous, and I need to get back. Because also Aiden's on my list. In fact, I'm going to call him because in about 2 or 3 episodes, I want to talk to him.
No,
because I've spoken to Nick, but I want to see it from the chef's perspective. You know,
very nice. And they've put this like sourdough ice cream on the menu, but Aiden, like, he oozes passion for food.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and he was telling me about this ice cream, and he was like, "No, but you have to use the right bread for this ice cream." You know, so there's no just like,
chuck in whatever. Yeah.
He's like, it's all about the bread, you know, and there's so much passion, and you can taste it. I love this.
I'd actually like, you know, I'm thinking about that. It's all very well sitting here having these conversations with chefs and people that I admire, but it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall when you're having a conversation like that with Aiden or with, you know, hair model guy or Ryan or someone, you know, very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I must think about another. When this season ends, maybe I'll do a new format and just sit down with a bunch of chefs.
Sounds good.
So let's talk about that then, because we need to move back and go, how about now?
How about now?
I mean, apparently it absolutely rips at Time Out Market.
Yeah, and we're also, so it all started in COVID. So it's one good thing that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, Matt and I, he'll hate me for this, but Matt and I never used to get along at Test Kitchen.
Because he had better hair? No?
Excuse me?
What am I saying? No, but the thing is, no.
He does. Yeah, we just, it was so funny. It was actually over we had one fight. And it was over a 3 centimeter by 7 centimeter wafer crisp. And we had a fight about it. And
chefs fight? I thought you were all
no.
passive, easygoing.
No? So, yeah, and we had a fight about that. But it's so funny because now, I mean, him and his wife are like family to us. You know, he's my closest friend. And so in COVID, he was like, can I come to your house? You know, and I was like, why the hell
would you come to my house?
What do you want? You know?
No, he was probably going to look in the shower, see what shampoo you're using.
And he was like, look, like, and it was tough. You know, Test Kitchen was closed. We were not we needed some money to get by as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you know, and I know he spoke about his sister also
Yes.
being his inspiration. And he was talking about his sister that she'd had these big bao buns in Taiwan or overseas. And he was like, oh, it's so different. It's so cool. Like, maybe we should do something about that. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And it's actually how the name came about as well, because I was like, well, when the hell are we going to do this? You know, and then we go and we're like, well, you know, what about now? And then it goes, oh, how about now? Yeah. And that's how it came about. And then we were doing it, and it was tough because we started it when the restaurants were still closed. And it was very successful. So we asked Luke for advice, and we said, how many bao buns should we take to the first weekend? And he was realistic. And he's like, guys, you know, you're still young bucks. Nobody really knows you. Nobody knows the product. He was like, take like 70 for the weekend, you know. So then we were like, oh, come on.
Because you had to go and be like before the panel of Cheryl Ozinski and crew to get in, right?
Cheryl doesn't eat pork, and she ate our pork bao finishing class. She said it's important to taste, but I think the taste was there, so she polished it off.
Okay.
Anyway, we ended up making 140 baos for the weekend.
Yeah.
And we sold out at 12 o'clock on Saturday. Yeah. So properly. So it was incredible. The support was amazing. But then it came to test kitchen reopening. Yeah. And we were like, okay, cheers, Habanal, that was fun. Adios. And Luke was the one who sat down with us, and he said, guys, you
don't
can't
let it
stop
go.
what you've started.
You built something here,
If it wasn't for Luke, he also gave us huge support and use the sous vides, use the SKs, do what you got to do. But it was tough. I mean, we'd finish at midnight, and there's Matt and I at 1 o'clock in the morning, rolling bao buns, dropping pork belly. So it was tough.
And he's got his hairnet on with the product for tomorrow.
Yeah. And he, Luke really helped us start it off. We actually, when we were testing the baos, we went to Luke's house and we cooked for him and his family these bao buns, and he gave us a thumbs up. And now, we moved to the new Oranjesish market, which has been unbelievable.
So I've seen some reviews that have said, it's more than me, but I think it looks fantastic.
It's unbelible. And the space.
And is it better for vendors? Is it better organized for vendors?
Bigger space. We've got proper extractor fans. We've built it like a proper small kitchen. You know, We've got underbar fridges now. We've got a huge oven. You know, we've got all this space, and it's unbelievable. We beat our record.
Whoa!
Last Wednesday, so that was extremely grateful.
What season is pumping, and it's like a bigger season.
We've got bigger space, more people, excitement, but the market, it's world class. I've never seen anything.
Listen, there's no question.
I've never seen anything like it. So I think people are moaning and things about the queue, but at the end of the day, they're putting safety first. You know, this is how many people get in, and I commend them for it. You know.
Let's be honest, people are always going to have a moan. You know,
Capetonians are always like, something's new, we don't like it. And then 2 weeks later, they want their matcha latte.
But that is an astonishing thing. It's a world-class venue. Listen, I think on that note, just say thank you very, very much for chatting to me today.
I appreciate it.
No, listen, it flowed easily, and I think we've gone well over time. That's huge editing. So on that note, you've heard from Carla Schulze, the executive chef, head chef of Salon at the Biscuit Mill. Book. You can book online and come and experience it, but don't no-show. Don't make the people sad in the kitchen. Thanks for joining us on A Table in the Corner, and we'll see you next week.